We're talking the Kentucky Farmland Transition Initiative on this edition of Farm to Frankfort. President Melton, I know recently you rolled out the Kentucky Farmland Transition Initiative, the KFTI. Recently rolled that out. What's a little background on that initiative?
Well, Kyle, it's just something I've had on my mind for a long time as we watched prime farmland or just farmland in general basically going away to other things, and got to thinking about it. And of course, we elected a new leadership team in December of this year, and as Shane and Larry came on board with us, we sat down and talked about some priorities and some things that we'd like to do, and we came up with this initiative that we thought was something that was important to our members. And so as we got into it and thinking about it, and I, over the years, as I was president of KCARD, of their board of directors, I got to know Alita Botts a little bit better. Alita actually worked in Washington, D.C. on a number of farm bills on the House Ag Committee. When she came back to Kentucky, she worked with UK for a few years, and then she went to work for KCARD and was executive director there, and I got to work closely with her as I was president of KCARD and she was the executive director. Got to know her and got to know her passion, and she decided a couple of years ago, I guess, may not be quite 2 years yet, but that she was going to step away from being executive director and go back to Menifee County, where she's from, and decide what she wanted to do. And so as we talked about this, I knew Alita had a passion for this same thing. So we reached out to her, and she's going to lead this project for us, and I couldn't be more excited about her doing that. And she's done a lot of work on it right now. We've got a new website that's up and going, the KY Farmland Transition Initiative.com. And so we're excited about getting that up and live, and hopefully people will go there and look at it. It's a three-part series, Kyle. Three things that we're looking at right now. The first is just about awareness and education, right. Making people aware of what's happening with our farmland. And the second piece of it is going to be just getting people together and have resources on this website like attorneys, CPAs, people that have had experience. Well, we're looking for stories. Actually today just received a story from someone on there that's had a farm, it's been in their family since 1915. They're third generation on that farm, and they're looking for some way to keep that farm in agriculture or in their family. So hopefully we can help some people by telling each other stories and doing those. And then, of course, as I say in Farm Bureau fashion, and what's near and dear to you is Farm Bureau policy. Is there some policy piece of this that we can work on in Frankfort or in Washington, D.C. to make this transition of farmland better, to keep it in active farmers' hands? That's what I think the main thing that we'd like to do is that if a farmer owns that land, we've always said that that's a farmer's greatest asset is their farmland, and they love their farmland. The joke is that they don't want to own everything; they just want to own that farm that joins them. Right. But they don't want to own it all. But honestly, young and beginning farmers, but also active farmers, we want to keep that land in agriculture and working toward producing food and fiber and fuel for this country. And actually, I was talking to American Farm Bureau President Zippy Duval about this initiative, and he said, Eddie, it's also a food security issue that we grow our food in our country, and hopefully we can export to other countries, but it is a national security issue of us being able to produce food here in our country, and I think it's passionate for me for Kentucky.
Yeah, so I'm excited about this program. We just kicked it off recently, but we're already hearing success stories from people that are commenting in, and not a week goes by that we don't get a call from a member where they're talking about this very issue, whether it's a experienced farmer that's looking to start the transition process, or the young or the beginning farmer that is looking at acquiring that land. We hear constantly from all age groups about the importance of transitioning this farmland, whether it's the person that owns it or the person looking to acquire it. It's just so important to our membership all across the spectrum.
It is, Kyle, and as we talked about the new team came and talked about this issue, and then about the 1st of March, the census came out, the Census of Agriculture, what's happened in the last 5 years. And it probably really drove it home to us, wow, this is a big deal, because we've lost 6,500 farms
Right.
in Kentucky, and lost over 500,000 acres of farmland in the last 5 years. Just 5 years.
So 100,000 acres a year.
100,000 acres a year of farmland. But then we did a little research on it, and we looked back in 20 years. In 20 years, we've lost 17,000 farmers, and they've lost 1.4 million acres of farmland here in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. That's not sustainable. We looked at it. If that continued on for 60 years, we'll lose over half of our farmers here in Kentucky. So we have to find a way that we can keep people in agriculture and keep it more profitable for them, for where they can want to get into agriculture. So that's the first piece of it. And then how do we transition and keep this in active farmers' hands, the land in active farmers' hands, that way that they're getting the equity and not having to rent land. And again, we're all going to have to rent land forever, those people that want
Right.
to keep their land, and that's great. But if someone wants to transition out of it, let's keep it in agriculture, and that's what we want to do. And we'll work it on the state and the national level on the policy piece.
Yeah.
That's your piece. That's your job there.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, in true Farm Bureau fashion, there will be a policy piece. And like I think back to just since I've been here at Farm Bureau and working in Frankfort and in Washington, you know, we've done some things related to this going back to 2019.
We did.
With the selling farmer tax credit.
Absolutely.
This is something that's been near and dear to your heart
It has.
for many years. And I think back to that because that's something we've got on the books that maybe we need to look at tweaking. And I think through this initiative, we can hear stories, whether they be success stories or maybe a horror story. But we've been working on things around this issue for a long time. So I'm excited to get this initiative fired up where we can hear more from our membership all across the Commonwealth, letting us know the good, the bad, the ugly,
Absolutely.
you know, that needs to be addressed here.
You were talking about the selling farmer tax credit. It was actually our leadership was sitting in Senator Givens' office
right.
On our annual visits that we go out and visit with them, and just sitting around talking. And he said, "What's an issue that's important to y'all? What are y'all thinking about? What are you talking about?" And we, as a leadership team, told him about you know, how do we keep farmland and get farmland to these beginning farmers. And that conversation, and that's how legislation and policy can work. Sitting in his office, talking about the issue, came up with a plan. He went to work on it, got the selling farmer tax credit, found some dollars, and actually implemented it. And there have been a number of those that have been used over the years. We want to get the word out that if somebody does want to do that and they sell to a beginning and young farmer, there are tax credits. You can go to the selling farmer tax credit, and it'll pop up on your web browser and look at it, and you can find out all about it. The application is fairly simple to be able to sign up for it, and it's several dollars that's available for you to be able to take advantage of a tax credit there.
Absolutely. I think it's up to $100,000 per individual, so it's something that
period of time.
Can really benefit the person selling the land, incentivizing them to
keep it
do
in
so.
agriculture.
And then I think just this session, we've talked about it a lot, but House Bill 418 around ag districts and lowering that acreage requirement to let more farmers participate in putting their land in an ag district that will keep that land in agriculture, and hopefully it can begin to transition.
That's right. You know, that lowering from 250 contiguous acres down to 50, if you get around some of our urban areas, and I know there's a lot of people out there, Kyle, that farm around those urban areas, how difficult it gets sometimes to farm around that. But if you get your farm in an ag district, and I highly recommend anybody that if you're anywhere close, that you probably need to look at an ag district. There's no downfall to it.
Right.
Go to your conservation district, talk to them. After July 1st, you'll only have to have 50 acres now with House Bill 418 that Representative Sarge Pollock worked on for us and got through the process. He and Senator Jason Howell worked on that for us and shepherded all that through the process and was signed into law. So July the 1st, you'll be able to go from 250 down to 50 contiguous acres and keep that in farmland, protect yourself from annexation. And it's just a really good bill, and that excites me. But this project is, I don't know where it'll take us, Kyle. I really don't know. I have high expectations. Alita has reached out to most all the commodity groups here in Kentucky. We're asking them to join the network with us. We want your ideas. We want their thoughts and suggestions. We want you to join us with this. We don't have all the answers, but if we all work collectively together, we hope we can make a difference with this initiative and see where we can go with this.
And I think that's always been agriculture's strength, is we're always pulling together in the same direction, and that certainly gives us a lot of strength. And we do have very strong rural roots in Frankfort. I think the time to try to address this issue is now. Like you say, we saw the 5-year census, did a 20-year look back. We can't just keep kicking the can. I think it's time to take action, and I appreciate your leadership on it. I know you were on RFD TV talking about it to a national audience as well. You mentioned President Duval and his comments as well. I mean, it's just an incredibly important issue here in Kentucky, but nationwide as well. Maybe we can be that model for creating something that can go nationwide.
We're looking for people to join us in on this initiative, and if there are other states out there that are doing things that we can help with, or if they want to be a part of us, we're open to. We're looking at Kentucky right now to see what we can do here, but who knows where it takes us. And
that's right.
when you and our legislative team work on policy, there's no telling where this will take us. I have really great ideas, but I do want our members to be thinking about this before our policy, because at that one little small conversation that we talk about at a Farm Bureau meeting, or at the feed store, or at the restaurant, that might be the one thing that we can take and implement that can make a difference in this initiative.
And since we started this Farm to Frankfort show, and we talk about policy and the resolutions process, we always say no idea is too small.
That's right.
No idea is incorrect. I mean, we really are looking for everybody's ideas, and I think that's what the website that was created. And again, it's Kentucky Farmland Transition Initiative.
I don't know that the initiative's in there. I think
just
it's
KentuckyFarmlandTransition.com.
I think that's right.
We want to hear from everybody that can get on there. And like you say, we've already heard from one person. Well, we've heard from multiple, but we were just discussing.
I just got a text today about the one that's it's important to people, and hopefully this will continue on, and we keep getting those comments and can work through this issue.
Yeah, but members that are watching this episode, share it with people. Share it with your friends and your neighbors that it's important to, and get on that website and share your story.
We want to hear it. There's also a phone number on the website that you can, if you don't want to share your comments in a text form, you can call that phone number and we'll get back with you on that. So I'm excited about it. Who knows where it's going to take us, but I look forward to the journey.
That's right. Well, thank you, President Melton, for your leadership on it, and I'm really looking forward to see what comes from it as well. So
thank you, and hopefully our members will see this initiative and want to join in with us, and again, all the others around the state can join in with us too.